beginning a very difficult road trip. 4 here and then 2 at Shea Stadium, coming off a very difficult homestand. Bob Carpenter, Tom Paciorek, welcome to St. Louis. And you cannot say St. Louis Cardinals anymore without Albert Pujols just about being in the same sentence.
Albert Pujols is the best hitter in baseball, Bob. I don't think there's any question about it right now. He's the most dangerous. Look at the short, compact swing. You pitch him up and in, he'll hit it to left field. You pitch him down and away, he'll hit it to right field. He is truly the best hitter in baseball right now, taking that honor away from Barry Bonds. And the one thing you cannot do is allow Albert Pujols to beat you. And on top of everything else, he is an excellent fielding first baseman, so he is double trouble up there. Woo! Certainly the finest player right now in the National League.
And you can see he plays the game with a lot of joy. He's like a little kid out there. He is nearing the Major League record for home runs in the month of April and still has a full weekend here to go. So Pujols getting the job done for the St. Louis Cardinals. Now let's talk about pitching, because it's going to be a big story for the Nationals for a while. Lots of injuries on the staff, and tonight Mike O'Connor out of Ellicott City, Maryland, and George Washington University, he will make his Major League debut.
Well, he's got to have a little bit of butterflies when he goes out to that mound, Bob. There will be a full house here at Busch Stadium, but he's a very likable young man. He throws a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, and hopefully he'll be able to hit his spots. And you've got to hit your spots early in the ball game, because as we've seen in the past, the Nationals really having trouble in the first inning. Sidney Ponson as having a reclamation project. There you see a real good changeup. He isn't going to strike out a whole lot of folks. He's got 5 strikeouts, 5 walks on the season, and the opposition is hitting .300 against Sidney, but he is 2-0 with a good 3-point earned run average. So he's a guy that's trying to make a comeback after some dreary days in the past with the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, only 1 year in his career over 500. Chad Cordero, he's the chief, of course, of the Nats bullpen. A little short on save opportunities this year. I had a chance to sit down with him, and we'll hear from the chief straight ahead. Welcome back to St. Louis. The Nationals opening up a road trip that'll take them here to Busch Stadium and then on to New York. Chad Cordero alongside. It's been a very interesting and tough start to the season. You haven't had that many save opportunities. How do you keep yourself sharp and ready when they do come?
Right, it has been tough. You know, I mean, I've only had 3 chances, and the last one came in that Florida series. You know, so I haven't had one in about a week and a half now. But I mean, it's tough. You know, when you're not going in those pressure-packed situations, and you're going in, you know, when your team's down, or if you're up by a lot, you know, every couple of days or so. But whenever I do go in there, you know, I have to tell myself that, you know, we're only up by 1 or 2 or something like that, just to you know, to help me focus a lot better, because for some reason, you know, closers tend to have a hard time, you know, when they go into situations where, you know, it's not a save opportunity.
Yeah, you guys don't like to mop up a whole lot. They always talk about closers being the kind of guys who like to live on the edge a little bit. How do you handle that? Because, you know, those last 3 outs of a ball game are so difficult to get.
I don't know. It's pretty tough, you know. But it's just something you have to get used to. You know, I mean, last year I had a tendency to, you know, to make it pretty interesting. You know, I would come in, get 2 quick outs, and then maybe load the bases or something like that, and then get it and try and get out of it. But, you know, it's something you have to get used to, and it's something you have to just, you know, when it happens, just relax and just focus on that guy in the batter's box. You know, you can't worry about what happened in the hitter before or the night before, because, you know, your job is to get that last out.
The way you guys have been down there in that bullpen, that phone could ring almost any time with all the injuries and all the things that have happened to this ball club so far. I bet it's not very dull.
Not at all. I mean, everybody's always ready, you know, because, I mean, anything can happen. Anybody can go in at any time. Just like it was the other day when Gary went in the second inning, you know. So nobody exactly knows, except for maybe myself, what inning they're going to go in. Yeah. You know, because John Roush is supposed to be our long man, but he's been throwing an inning in maybe the 7th or the 8th. You know, and usually your long relief guy is supposed to usually save for, you know, when you might have a chance to go in like the second or third inning. You know, you usually don't use him in the later part of the game, but that's what he's been doing, and so nobody really knows exactly when they're going to go in. So everybody's always ready.
All right, Chad. Hey, we hope you get 3 or 4 save opportunities this weekend. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
That's Chad Cordero. And in this St. Louis series, interesting matchup of managers, a Hall of Fame player who just won number 1,000 as a manager, Frank Robinson, and, of course, Tony La Russa, number 1 active in wins of all managers. He will be in the Hall of Fame someday. St. Louis taking the field here at Busch Stadium on a beautiful Thursday evening. The Nationals 6-7 on the road, and maybe they can relax on the road like they did last week. They won 4 of 6 in Florida and in Philly. This will be a tough road trip. And the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Nationals, hitting .262, 9th in the league. Pretty much all the usual guys with Soriano, Vidro, and Johnson. Guillen, Ryan Church, and Ryan Zimmerman. Brian Schneider ahead of the former St. Louis player, Royce Clayton, in the number 8 hole. And when Tom Paciorek asked Mike O'Connor what kind of hitter he was, he didn't get a real good answer, did you?
He says he can bunt pretty good.
He can bunt.
Yeah.
Ryan Zimmerman's been pretty good, though. He had the only hit yesterday, a one-hitter by Bronson Arroyo, Kent Merker, and David Weathers in a 5-0 Nats loss at home. Sidney Ponson, 29 years of age. He made big news in '03 when he went 14-6 for the Orioles. The Giants grabbed him at the trading deadline. He went 3 for 6. But really, Tom, that 1 year has been the big positive of his career.
No doubt about it. 78 and 91 with a .479 career earned run average. So that should, and most of it, granted, has been in the American League. So you could probably drop that a little bit in the National League. His ERA is fine right now at 3.31, and the Cardinals would be very, very happy if he stays that way all season long.
St. Louis has some surprising defensive numbers. Jim Edmonds has already made 3 errors in center. That never happens, but they're pretty solid all around. And Albert Pujols, well, he told me last year, I want to win a Gold Glove someday. And usually when Pujols makes up his mind to do something, it'll happen.
He'll probably win it this year.
Here's Ponson to Alfonso Soriano, and we are underway in St. Louis. It's inside ball 1. Alfonso batting at .315, and he lashes one off the glove of David Eckstein. It'll be a base hit all the way out into left center.
It's like a humpback liner right there. Eckstein is usually really dependable. See, he's playing over in the hole, thinking he's going to pull, and he got that in-between hop. Boy, that was a tough one. That overspin just kind of ate him up, so that is a base hit. Let's see if the Nats try and get aggressive early and put Soriano in motion. He's got 5 stolen bases.
Yeah, you better make contact if you do, because Yadier Molina is one of the best young throwing catchers in baseball. And of course, he has 2 older brothers, Benji and Jose, who are very good major league catchers.
Oh, yeah.
But he's only 1 out of 5 caught stealing so far. That's a little surprising. That indicates to me that Cardinal pitchers have not been holding people on.
Yeah, but that also indicates that they're not running on him either. Only 5 stolen base attempts will tell you that they got a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, there's a reputation there. Jose Vidro, 2nd in the league at .372. The Nationals have the top 2 batting average guys in the league, with Nick Johnson on deck and Jose Vidro. 1 ball, 1 strike. Target inside. Soriano got a great jump.
Oh, my.
And they got him. He looked like he might have been in there, but Bill Welke punched him out. He really had a good jump, and Yadier Molina made up the difference.
Well, you just said it. Boy, did you ever hit that one on the nose. He did. He got a good jump, and not that easy of a pitch to throw on because it was inside on the left-handed hitter. He got to come out of the chute and just fires a bullet there.
He was safe.
I think he got his hand in there, too.
Yeah, his hand was in there.
Jeez.
Here's Vidro, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Once again, I hate that head first slide. I think he's got a better chance of being called safe by going in feet first. Plus, the fielder won't be as aggressive. Boy, that was bang, bang. I don't know.
Eckstein got the tag down very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah.
Looked like Soriano's hand was into that bag before Eckstein slammed it down.
But it's not that easy when he's coming in feet first.
Right. The one way he would be out is if Eckstein's glove was between the fingertips and the bag.
Right.
So the bases are empty with 1 out. There's a little guy who will do anything to beat you, David Eckstein.
Great player.
Nationals caught stealing for the 11th time. Vidro, and he slices one to left. So Taguchi over there to cover it.
Great jump by Taguchi. That looked like a double all the way, but he read that ball off the bat perfectly. Ball slicing into the corner. Nice job.
That's a left fielder who won 5 Gold Gloves in Japan in 10 years.
That's a pretty good outfield they got here, Bob. Boy, he did. He plays like a center fielder. He got there easily, too.
Well, he is a center fielder.
Yeah, but he's not going to play center field here.
Not here.
I don't care how many errors Edmonds has.
And here's Nick Johnson with the bases empty and 2 outs. So the Nationals have had 2 hard-hit balls. One afternoon game today. The Rockies at Philadelphia helped out the Nats by beating the Phils 6-3, and Philadelphia now 9-12. 9-12 has them in 2nd place in the East. Nick gets jammed and straight back it goes. Quickly 0-2. Nick Johnson had his hitting streak stopped yesterday at 8 games. Over those 8 games, he had been batting just about at the 500 mark. A lot of hitting streaks came to an end for Frank's Nationals yesterday. Home plate umpire, by the way, is Marty Foster, 8-year veteran. Bob Davidson, Bill Welke, and crew chief Tim McClelland at 3rd. And the 1-2 to Nick. That one floats just up and away. Ponson took a little off. Johnson rips it high in the air to left. Ball carries well here, but not enough on that one. After the Soriano leadoff single and the caught stealing, Ponson gets the next 2. Rookie Mike O'Connor, bottom of the first. St. Louis hitting .267. They're in the top 6 in the league in batting. They're 8th in runs and 9th in homers. The Southwest Airlines starting lineup. It's David Eckstein, Hector Luna, and guess who? Batting .357. His 12 homers and 29 RBIs. #1 in all of baseball, Albert Pujols. Interesting because Encarnacion and Edmonds are not hitting that well. Scott Rowland has a severe case of bronchitis, so Scott Spezio's in the lineup. Who's going to protect Pujols, Tom? And when you look at this lineup, why would you pitch to Albert Pujols?
There's no reason to pitch to him unless there's nobody on base, and you have to. There really isn't. Scott Rowland right now is the only guy that probably could protect him. As you mentioned, Edmonds could when he's on a hot streak, but he's just not swinging the bat yet this season.
Mike O'Connor with Potomac last year, and his overall professional record 28-25. It was kind of interesting. He was the only player on the team bus that departed the hotel at 4 o'clock Central Time, and he was probably on the bus a half hour before any of us showed up.
Yeah,
he was ready. He's got 9 family members here with him, and his first pitch as a major leaguer is almost back to the screen, grabbed by Schneider. David Eckstein hitting .329 with an on-base average of .396. Tough little guy to get the ball in the strike zone when you're making your major league debut.
Well, you could see right now that Mike O'Connor's got to be a little nervous. He's really dropping his shoulder, his left shoulder, and he's not getting back up on top, and that's why the ball's going high.
And a good pitch, outside corner, let her high.
But that is a deception type of a thing.
Nick Johnson says, hey, you got a good fielding team behind you, buddy. Just you do what you do and we'll do ours.
Yeah, they've been catching the ball well, the Nats have. Eckstein, being the team guy that he is, even on 3-1, I would imagine he'll take a strike here.
He's aboard. Nationals defensively tied for 7th in the league. If the pitchers hadn't made a couple of errors this year, the Nats would be ranked a whole lot higher. Most errors by anybody who's out there tonight. Clayton with 3, Johnson with 2, and Church with 2. And for St. Louis, Hector Luna, a former Rule 5 player who's getting some playing time at second base. Aaron Miles is a switch hitter, but against the left-hander, Luna's in there. This guy's batting .432. He's a rangy player with some size, pop in his bat, and some speed, who has long intrigued the Cardinals since he got him in the Rule 5 draft.
You know, and hitting second on the Cardinals might be the best position to hit in baseball. How many good pitches is he going to see?
He should see a lot. Eckstein did some jockeying with the pitcher looking at him. That one is away. Tony La Russa has 3 words for this man. He calls him the Great Pujols. That's what he whispered into Albert's ear after Pujols hit the homer against Brad Lidge in the LCS last year in Houston.
Yeah, but he's already 26 years old.
Yeah, he's only got about, what, 12, 13 more years?
Probably, at least, I would say, yeah. If he wants it.
Luna hits it to right. Cruising over near the line is Jose Guillen, and he's got it. And that's a big first out considering who's coming up. And here comes Albert Pujols.
The thing about Pujols, too, Barry Bonds swings at nothing but strikes. Albert Pujols' strike zone is from about his chin to his toes. I mean, he can hit anything. He reminds me a lot of a big Kirby Puckett.
Look at that extension already.
Yeah. I'm just wondering why everybody in the world doesn't hit like him. He's low. He's got a great center of gravity. His hands are away from his body, and all he does is turn his shoulders, picks up that back, his front heel. Look at how spread out he is. He'll pick up this heel right here, and then he'll go from there. And that's it. Bend with his knees when the ball is low and stay. He's already up for the high pitch. That's why he's such a good high ball hitter.
Big strong man, 6'3", 225.
Look at these numbers.
He's averaged 40 homers and 124 RBIs his first 5 years. Breaking ball, a little off speed, and that got him to foul tip.
Good one. Well, that one's got some bite to it, very slow, and Albert right over the top of it.
Wow. Nationals have turned only 14 double plays on the year.
Coming inside.
Better get in there. It's high in the air to center. Plenty of room. Ryan Church coming in. And the rookie gets his next batter, Albert Pujols.
Atta boy, Mikey. Here's our keys to the game. O'Connor. He's jousting for a position. This is kind of like a medieval type of a thing. Keep Prince Albert in the can. Don't let him kill you. Don't pitch to him. You don't have to. And Sir Sidney making a comeback.
Wow.
In a new palace here in St. Louis. All night we're working on it.
Yeah, I have a very regal feeling about this game.
See? We knew you would.
Now here's Juan Encarnacion. The good news is this is not Edwin Encarnacion,
right,
who left town yesterday with the Reds. They're playing Houston this weekend. But this is Juan Encarnacion, 30-year-old outfielder, former Tiger, Red, Marlin, and Dodger. And he's off to a disappointing start, hitting .224.
Now, he had a good year, 287 last year for Florida.
Off-speed pitch.
I like it.
Mike O'Connor may be showing us the entire repertoire here in the first inning, but maybe he needs to. And that's what Juan Encarnacion has done against the Ex Spos / Nationals career.
That's tremendous right there. Yeah, that Encarnacion name.
Man.
Mike. Sneaky fast. Set up. Mike's the kind of guy that's going to have to pitch backwards. You can see it right now. He's going to have to set up his fastball with that slow curveball. And it'll work for him. Little changeup. And you jam Albert Pujols, you've done something special. See the grip? I'd imagine he's a two-seamer.
0-2. His 14th pitch of the inning. It's a high fastball that's popped out of play.
You want to stay away from that that zone with Encarnacion. He is a dead high ball hitter.
No score, bottom of the first. We're just underway in St. Louis. 4 here and then 2 in New York. And the Nationals still don't know who's pitching Sunday. Evidently John Patterson will not be able to go. Breaking ball, severe jam job. Ryan Zimmerman straight across. Nick Johnson can't pick it. Zimmerman kind of goosed the ball over there rather than gunning the ball, and he just got his first error of the year.
Yeah, he really, that's exactly what he did, Bob. He didn't follow through on that throw. He just kind of lobbed it over there. And when you stop that arm, when you don't follow through, you're just throwing a dead duck over there across the infield. Nothing on it. Had plenty of time to get it, and Nick Johnson just can't come up with the pick. And Nick has got great hands at first base.
Now you have to face Jim Edmonds. This guy is the ultimate streak hitter. When he's going well, you can't get him out. When he's going bad, he can't even touch the ball.
Yeah.
Right now he's hitting 200. That one almost hit him. Edmonds has had some shoulder problems and has had to sit out a few games early in the year.
Yeah, I think he had a cortisone shot, which is not one of the most painful things you can have in there. But you look at those numbers. But you're right, he's a high ball hitter. He was getting extra work with hitting coach Hal McRae earlier.
Big curveball. Now our camera here at the new ballpark, it's kind of really offset toward the left field side from the position the guys are in out there in left center. Those curveballs really look big when you're over on this side of the mound. That was a pretty good one. There's another one. It hangs up and in. Don't hang that out over the plate.
No. It's amazing. He throws left-handed and he's a high ball hitter.
Yeah, totally against the Bobby Valentine theory we were discussing yesterday.
No, Bobby says.
Oh yeah, you're right. Right-handed guys.
Right-handed guys.
They're
throw
the
right-handed. Yeah. And hit left-handed.
Yeah.
You're a low ball hitter.
And you are seeing 3 unearned runs because of a bad throw at third base. Jim Edmonds with his 4th of the year. And after the error, St. Louis makes Washington dearly pay.
And guess what that pitch was? A high fastball. Lordy, lordy. No stride. See, he just picks up that back heel. Gets his hands above the ball. It's amazing with that uppercut swing. He's still a high ball hitter. He swings up at the ball more than anybody in the league, but he gets his hands above the ball and he makes solid contact.
Scott Spezio goes up hacking. Edmonds' 4th of the year, his 335th career homer. He went over 1,000 RBIs in the first week of the season. Now Spezio lines one to left, and Soriano can't get it. He was there and he just missed it. Spezio heading for third.
That's got to be an error.
Looked like Alfonso was there, and he reached out with 2 hands to catch it, and then he never got to the ball.
No, he was right there by his glove, and he dives for it. That he didn't have to do. Good hustle there by Spezio to get the third.
Little home cooking. They've given Spezio a triple.
Wow. Well, that is home cooking.
Well, the Nats were out of the inning. Encarnacion hit an easy ground ball to Ryan Zimmerman. He threw it softly into the dirt. Nick Johnson couldn't dig it out. Randy St. Clair, 2 batters later, has to visit the mound. And the Cardinals could come up with another run here. Yadier Molina, the batter.
That's got to be really frustrating because you made good pitches on Albert Pujols, and it looked like you pitched your way out of it, making good pitches on Encarnacion.
This little pop up to left. Clayton is out, and Royce makes a very fine play. 3 unearned runs on the walk, the error, and Jim Edmonds' 3-run homer. That's how the road trips. St. Louis 3, Washington nothing. You can score with the Pepsi Family 4-pack. RFK Stadium for Sunday Family Days. The 4-pack includes 4 Upper View outfield tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and 4 bags of chips for only $49. Feast on food and baseball with the Nats. The Pepsi Family 4-pack. Nationals.com or call the 888 number 632 Nats and use the code Pepsi4. Jose Guillen leads off in the top of the second for the Nationals. Oh, was that tough to take? Tough to watch. Now you got to start pecking away as you're behind in a ball game again.
Yeah, that first inning has just been murderous.
And this is one time we cannot fault the pitcher. Guillen flies to center. It'll back up Edmonds just a bit. Jim Edmonds 8 gold gloves. There's Ryan Church hitting .257. One of the things the guys were talking about in the post-game quotes last night, too many first pitch swings. After Bronson Arroyo tantalized them all day with his breaking stuff, a lot of the guys felt they were too aggressive in the batter's box and didn't make him work enough. Church came up swinging right after Guillen flied out, and the 0-1. Now a breaking ball is fouled.
Well, but Arroyo was throwing first pitch strikes. I mean, you know, getting behind him wasn't going to help you out. If he throws especially a fastball early in the count, you have to jump all over it because you weren't going to hit his breaking ball yesterday. It was too good.
Then you take strike 3. Ryan Church is gone, and Ponsone's retired 4 in a row since Soriano's base hit to start the game.
Curveball, and I mean the location is right down the middle, belt high. I mean, that's a great looking pitch to hit unless you didn't pick up the rotation. See where Ryan's hands were? They were forward. He couldn't pull the trigger on that.
Bases empty, 2 outs. Ryan Zimmerman. As we mentioned earlier, he's been swinging the bat pretty well lately. Zimmerman 9 for his last 30. So that's a 300 mark over the last week or so that has raised his average up to 241. A week ago today he was hitting 207. There goes the bat and a ground ball to the third base side. Spezio throws low and Pujols digs it out. Nationals go in order. And after an inning and a half on the Jim Edmonds homer, 3-0 St. Louis. 3-0 St. Louis on a 414-foot Jim Edmonds home run in the bottom of the first inning. How about some game notes? The Nats have scored only 8 runs lately. Atlanta shut them down, and then certainly Cincinnati did. And of course, Mike O'Connor, Ellicott City, right outside the city of Baltimore. Jim Edmonds will become the 4th all-time Cardinal home run hitter soon. Of course, he's been here a lot longer than Mark McGwire was. Per capita, McGwire hit more than anybody, even more than Stan Musial on that basis. Bottom of the second, So Taguchi, the number 8 hitter. Lines one out to left center. Ryan Church on the run. He ran a straight route and then made his adjustment to make the catch. Next up is Sidney Ponson. Boy, Mike O'Connor had a chance to be out of that first inning on 14 pitches with no runs. It ended up being a 3-run 20-pitch first inning. Sidney Ponson 0 for 3, 6 for 53 career. It'll be a long time before Mike O'Connor forgets his first inning as a major league pitcher. He experienced the good and the very unfortunate. 6'3", 170 he is listed. And that's, well, actually the Ex Spos took him in the 7th round 4 years ago.
You don't want to walk this guy. Well, he's got about, what, 9 family members here today?
He does.
So he wants to press them. Oh, boy.
He just walked the pitcher on 4 fastballs. One of the things you'll see happen with young pitchers, they'll get 2 outs, bases empty, and have a hard time closing out the inning. They'll figure they can just aim the ball and strike out the opposing pitcher, and that didn't happen. So now he's got to buckle down with Eckstein and Luna, the next 2 hitters, and if you don't retire both of them, Albert Pujols is waiting again. Eckstein walked and scored on the Edmonds home run. Well, the Angels simply didn't want this guy after the 0-4 season. He had hit .276. They got a chance to get Cabrera, Orlando Cabrera, as a free agent from the Red Sox. St. Louis picked him up. And all he did last year was hit .294 here, go to the All-Star game, and he drove in 61 runs from the leadoff spot.
Isn't that something?
And then he and Mark Grudzielanek set a club record for double plays with 196.
Well, he just seems like he's always in the right place at the right time. You know, he doesn't have a great throwing arm, but he gets himself in a great throwing position all the time.
Listed as 5'7".
Well, he's feisty. Tony La Russa absolutely loves this guy. Why wouldn't he? That .283 career hitter in his 6th year.
Yeah, he hit 8 of his 26 career homers last year. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big curveball stays away. Eckstein out of that University of Florida baseball program.
Yeah, he was a walk-on there, didn't he?
You know
didn't even want him.
And he became an All-American. But that was in the classroom. He was an academic All-American 2 times.
Isn't that something? Here's a guy that never gave up.
Beyond the reach of Vidro, stopping at second is Ponson. And because you've walked the pitcher, the 2nd inning is now a big problem.
Well, Eckstein's a good high ball hitter. He got one upstairs and just kind of inside outs. Chokes up on the bat. And he stands right on top of the plate. And just battles. Eckstein last year in 630 at bats struck out 44 times.
Hector Luna flied to right his first time up. If you get a ground ball, this young man is not a guaranteed double play. He can really run. Luna lines one hard to left. Here comes Soriano. Boy, I don't know what's going on with Alfonso. He just has not looked comfortable in left field the last couple of games, and before that he was.
Yeah,
that was not a comfortable play.
no, it was a line drive towards the line, probably hooking a little bit. Oh boy, just kind of misjudging it. I don't know if it's the ballpark not being able to pick it up in the twilight yet, but he had a lot of difficulty on that triple by Spezio in the 1st inning.
Here's Albert Pujols, 2 on 2 out. Rookie of the year, his 1st year. 4 All-Star games already. He only struck out 65 times.
Isn't that
last
amazing?
year.
Well, he's got a short, compact swing. Just turns that body a little bit. That's a good pitch right on the outside corner. You know, people were asking me today, who does Pujols remind me of guys of the era that I was in? Now, the only thing that I could think of was Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
Of course, I never saw Joe hit in person. Look at this. Some runners and that's scary.
Oh, my gosh.
563.
Those are numbers that carry a ball club.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, DiMaggio had that spread out stance. He never took a stride, and he could hit up or down, in or out, and he hit more home runs than he struck out during his career. Pujols is maybe not going to do that, but he's the only guy I can think of. Short, compact swing with great power.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball away. Clayton to Vidro, and out at second. A scoreless second inning for Mike O'Connor, despite walking the pitcher and then an Eckstein single. 3-0 St. Louis after. Tom Paciorek marveling at some of the St. Louis jerseys, the old blue ones from back in the 80s. The baby blues.
Don't like them.
We like the Washington Nationals future stars, though, in Woodbridge, Virginia. It's only 30 miles from RFK. The Potomac Nationals with a full season schedule. Season tickets, many plans on sale. For a game schedule and info, call 703-590-2311. Go to PotomacNationals.com. It's fun to be a fan. I've also noticed that at all of our home games, the Nationals have a booth, a little kiosk on the main level right behind home plate. So you can stop by there and find out more about the ball club in Potomac.
And Fitzner Stadium.
Here's Brian Schneider. Ponson with a fastball in there.
See, Sidney Ponzon's not going to dazzle you with his fastball. He's going to throw it in the high 80s. But his change of speeds has been good so far.
Sharply hit ball. Luna over to grab it.
You know, one thing that Cardinals really do, Bob, is they pitch and play defense. You know, everybody talks about their power and Pujols and all that other stuff, but they got some guys that can make some plays. Now, here's a guy, Hector Luna, gets a good jump right there. He's a little squatty guy. Pujols is good at first. Rolen is excellent at third base, and so is Eckstein. And Jim Edmonds really has very few peers outside of Andrew Jones.
St. Louis was really good about a year and a half ago when Larry Walker was healthy and he was playing right field.
Yeah.
Then they had So Taguchi in left.
Yeah, no, I think their defense goes unnoticed a lot of times. You know, they're number 2 in pitching, 337 behind the Mets, but a lot of that is because of the pitching.
Eckstein. 2 down. You know why Tony La Russa wears dark glasses for night games? He doesn't want the other manager to see his eyes. He will do anything he can to get any kind of edge in a ball game whatsoever.
Oh, do I know that?
You played for him.
Yep, 4 years. Hey, one of the all-time great managers. He's something. And he's very creative offensively.
I don't think Frank's worried about Tony's eyes right now.
No, I don't think. He's got Betty Davis eyes or something.
Mike O'Connor with a swing and a foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Duncan, longtime commander alongside.
Yeah.
Pitching coach, a former catcher who's a pitching coach.
Mm-hmm. A very good one, too.
They call him the Deacon because of his demeanor.
Yeah, Dunk doesn't say a whole lot.
No, he always looks like he just heard someone's confession. 2 balls.
He did, his pitchers.
2 balls, 1 strike. O'Connor with a decent swing up the middle. It goes to David Eckstein. 3 ground balls, and the Nats are making it easy right now for Sidney Ponson. The Deacon, 3-0. Juan Encarnacion will be the leadoff man for St. Louis in the bottom of the 3rd. And he's the one who hit that ball back in the 1st inning. A runner at first, 2 outs. A very routine play for Ryan Zimmerman.
Yeah, Ryan's been making that play all season long. And then the big bomb by Edmonds. Boy, he got that fastball up, and that's where you cannot pitch him. You know, in this era of baseball, Bob, everybody seems to be coming to be a low ball hitter for the most part. Big, strong guys just dropping the head of the bat on the ball. There are very few high ball hitters. And Edmonds is a perfect example of what a high ball hitter is all about. Pujols can hit anything. This guy at the plate right now is a high ball hitter.
Encarnacion, well traveled. St. Louis signed him as a free agent back in January. Larry Walker retired. They needed a right fielder. And this guy reminds them a little bit of Reggie Sanders, who was here last year. Power, strike out a lot, play a pretty good outfield for you. Reggie Sanders went to Kansas City as a free agent. Mark Grudzielanek went to Kansas City as a free agent. And the Twins beat Kansas City today 7-3. The Royals are 5-15. That's a pretty good 1-2 pitch, and O'Connor just missed with it. Other ball games, the Devil Rays continue to play the Yankees tough. 1-0 at New York in the 6th. Cleveland bombing the Red Sox again. 9-1. They beat them 7-1 last night. And Baltimore beat ahead of Toronto, pardon me. The Orioles, who've lost 4 in a row, lead 3-2 in the 5th.
That's Beckett pitching for Boston, too.
Wow.
Yeah,
Paul Bird for Cleveland.
Boy, who'd have bet on that one?
This one out of play, right side.
I wonder if those guys from Kansas City want to come back down the highway about now. Grudzielanek, Reggie Sanders. Of course, they probably weren't in St. Louis's budget.
Yeah, I think they had about $1 million budgeted for Grudzielanek. He got triple that in Kansas City.
Yeah, in a couple of years, I would imagine.
Yeah. Encarnacion reaching out, and here comes Soriano. He looked like he was battling the lights, and he made the play.
He definitely was battling the lights. He's not comfortable out there in this field. That must have been a bank of lights just to our right here. Well, he hung in there, though, and made a pretty good play out of it. There's a high pitch. You want to stay away from there with Encarnacion. And look, see, he's definitely battling something. And he catches it right at his shoe tops.
And they better quit throwing the ball up there to Jim Edmonds.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how hard you throw up there either. And Mike O'Connor is not a high ball pitcher.
There's a good breaking ball at the knees. And the count's even 1-1.
If you don't throw 95 miles an hour, slower is better. Or, you know, if you don't have great movement, say on 92, 93.
Now, see, that's a good fastball to Edmonds because he doesn't like the ball down there. And the count's 1-2.
Yeah, test him there again or throw the slow curveball.
How much of a fly ball hitter is Jim Edmonds? Last year, he went 368 at bats without hitting into a double play. And then he did it 2 consecutive at bats.
Yeah.
But he just does not hit the ball down.
No. Well, he's got that straight uppercut swing, and it's amazing he's that effective, but his hands are above the ball. He gets him there somehow. That's a strike.
That caught him looking a fastball. First major league strikeout for Mike O'Connor.
Hey, Mike, there you go, Bob. Down and away, fastball. About 83. You see he's got the little leg kick. He throws his arms, elbows, everything. And Edmonds, that's a little Pujols-ish. All he does is pick up that front heel, turn his shoulders. He swings a little bit more up than Albert.
Base is empty, 2 outs for longtime American leaguer Scott Spezio, who spent 4 years with Oakland, 4 with Anaheim. He was on their World Series team, and the last 2 in Seattle. His father, Ed, was a major leaguer for 9 years, played here in St. Louis, also with the Padres and the White Sox.
Yeah, he's 33 years old, and I played against his dad.
He would make a very good trivia question. Who co-holds the all-time record for postseason RBIs in one season? He had 19 of them for the 0-2 Angels, tying Sandy Alomar's all-time record. Alomar did that in '97 with the Indians.
Now that's hard to believe that both of those guys would be in that category too.
Well, the Yankees would be the Bronx Bombers, but back then there was only one playoff series, and that was the World Series.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what damage New York would have done with their teams if there were 3 tiers of playoffs in the 50s and the 60s?
Been interesting to see what kind of numbers Mickey Mantle would have put up.
It's interesting. Casey Stengel is still one of the all-time winningest postseason managers.
Yeah, that's it. All they played was 7 games max.
Yeah.
Well, you can win only 4.
That ball's up high. Spezio takes the 2-out walk, and that's the 3rd walk by Mike O'Connor. He'll face Yadier Molina, who was robbed of an RBI on a great over-the-shoulder catch by Royce Clayton to end that scary bottom of the 1st.
Well, Molina's hitting only 174, but by the looks of that one throw in the 1st inning to nail Soriano, this guy's worth his weight in gold. Brian Schneider's always been good with the young pitchers. Just stay on top and finish your pitches off. I think that's critical for Mike because of his arm action, the way he drops his left arm down low and then he comes back on top. If he doesn't get up on top again and finish off that pitch, he's going to be wild high.
One and 0 to Molina. Another sold-out crowd here tonight. They do have a section of the ballpark that has not been completed yet. And Mark Lamping, the president of the Cardinals, who gave Tony Taveras and Kevin Uhlich a tour today, by the way, told us that they will open the rest of the stadium on May 29th and get it up to its eventual capacity of 46,700. I think Tony and Kevin wanted to come and observe the new ballpark here.
Oh yeah.
That section out there where you're looking, that was the first base area of the old Busch Stadium.
Out in here?
Yeah. So they had to build this while they were knocking down the other stadium, but they could only go so far up to a certain point. Similar to what the Reds did in Cincinnati several years ago when they knocked down Riverfront and built the Great American Ballpark, now known as the Great Home Run Ballpark. A lot of suites in this park, a heavy corporate presence that has some of the everyday fans riled up a bit. 3 balls, 1 strike. Out to short, Clayton. Right to Vidro, and the inning is over. And Mike O'Connor settling down nicely. Offense needs to get busy against Sidney Ponzon. The only man with a hit, Soriano, will lead off the. Well, if you're sitting right behind third base, that's your view out toward the Gateway Arch here in downtown St. Louis. Beautiful night for baseball. Time for some trivia from our good friends at the record for home runs at Old Busch Stadium.
Is he here tonight?
No.
It's not Frank Robinson.
Soriano pops up the first pitch.
Get out of here.
Molina watches it. Do what Tom said. Get out of here. I think the answer to that question.
At Old Busch Stadium?
Well, that means the one. That's what they're calling the one next door.
Yeah. Well, this
which used to be the new, because there have been 3 Busch Stadiums.
Okay. So it wouldn't be Stan Musial.
No.
That was Sportsman's Park, right? Yeah. Got to be McGuire.
Ponzon misses up and in to Soriano.
Curveball looked like it almost hit him. Thought it may have nicked his jersey.
Ball carries well here. It's about time Soriano got one up into that jet stream to left field. He lashes this one fair. It'll hit off the stands and bounce out in front. And you got to hold there for a single if the ball doesn't get deep into the corner.
Well, there's that little Boston touch, huh?
Yeah.
Really didn't realize until right there. That juts out just like Fenway Park.
Well, that's exactly the way the other Busch Stadium was after they reconfigured it. But they got that idea from Fenway.
Fastball. You can't throw him a fastball. Scott Spezio. Way off the line. And look at how fast Taguchi got the ball in there.
Yeah.
Soriano, even with that great speed, would have been out by 30 feet.
Vidro almost hit.
Jeez.
Molina almost got Soriano at first.
Wow.
I told you, this kid loves to throw the ball all over the ballpark.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I had his arm, I'd throw it all every time, too. Good Lord, that ball, he threw it from behind Vidro. Watch this. Look how quick he is. I thought he had him. If Pujols would have known where he was, that little bit of a high throw, it's a little lower, and he's dead.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And that play, that one throw right there, even though it's not an out, that can freeze a ball club for the rest of the inning.
Yeah. Now what Frank Robinson is thinking, well, heck with the steal. Now I got to start thinking about hit and running.
Yeah. You're down by 3 runs, too. Can't lose base runners. Vidro bounces one. Pujols comes forward. And that is a 3-6-3 double play.
He can pick it. Well, that's a good play right there. That's not that easy. And he made it look very simple. Great hands Albert Pujols has. He's a little bit of a twirl. Makes a perfect throw to Eckstein. And look, he's right there on the bag. Well, that's a good play. 3-6-3, not that easy.
With Derek Lee hurt, Albert Pujols might win a Gold Glove this year.
He should.
Because Lee has been recognized as the best first baseman defensively in the league. Albert Pujols has 0 errors. Here's Nick Johnson. JT Snow was another outstanding first baseman recently in the National League with the Giants.
The best one I ever played behind was Keith Hernandez. He was really good. The Mets, slow as molasses, but for 2 steps, he was like Brooks Robinson, a first base version of what Brooks Robinson did at third. Pujols is very good, very athletic.
1-1 to Nick Johnson, and he takes one from Ponson, a little low. Sidney Ponson right now in the high 30s in his pitch count. Mike O'Connor's thrown 63 pitches in 3 innings. Nick couldn't stop his swing.
I'll tell you what, Ponson is getting good movement on all his pitches. That sinker going down and away. Then he's got a movement on his curveball coming in, a little cutter in, and then a changeup off of that. And then he's relying on his defense to make the plays behind him.
Oops. That one tailed right back out over the plate. And in their last 13 innings, the Washington Nationals have 3 singles. They trail here in St. Louis 3-0. Bottom of the 4th. 3-0 Cardinals. Let's pay off our Aflac trivia question. And I can't remember if Mark McGwire passed Ray Langford or not.
Wow, are you good?
He did not. McGwire, you know, with another healthy year, would have. But the knee got him, and Ray Langford still the all-time leading home run hitter next door, which is a big, flat, future ballpark village now. Here's So Taguchi for St. Louis in the 4th. I like what Mike O'Connor's done tonight. I mean, he gave up the home run ball on a bad pitch to Edmonds. Should not have been pitching to Edmonds because of the error. And since then, he's been good.
He's been okay. Slow is good. Mike, make them supply all the power. And I really like his curveball. That thing just keeps digging. That's hard to gauge because it's going down, down, down.
0-2. How excited do you think Mike's family was when he had been drafted by the Ex Spos in 2002 And then they got the news the team was moving to Washington.
That's great, isn't it?
They dreamed of this night. And they're here. 9 of his family members are here. Fastball misses on 0-2. He was with the New Orleans Ball Club, made a quick connection in Memphis last night, and actually arrived at the hotel about the time the Nationals did from our trip from Dulles. Two balls and 2 strikes. Taguchi, Ponson, and Eckstein for St. Louis here in the 4th. He was nipping at the corner and just missed. His pitch count's going to be up over 70 by the end of this 4th inning.
I believe you're right.
Oh, he had him set up. Couldn't find the zone, and that's 4 walks for O'Connor tonight.
Sidney Ponson.
The Cardinals' backup catcher is Gary Bennett. Had a chance to speak with him during batting practice today. And the 34-year-old Bennett, who signed with the Cardinals as a free agent December 5th, he had nothing but good things to say about his stay in Washington with the Nationals last year. He played in 68 ball games. And he just wanted me to pass along his best to everybody watching tonight. He really enjoyed his time in D.C. I don't blame him for hanging around with the defending Cy Young Award winner either, sitting next to Chris Carpenter.
I was just thinking that. Chris Carpenter, boy, what a year he had. I'd stay right glued to him if I was Gary Bennett.
Carpenter, by the way, is 3-1 with a 1.91 ERA.
It's amazing when you think about Carpenter, Halladay, and Clemens were all starters for Toronto at one time.
Look at Ponson deaden that bunt.
Jeez.
Schneider to Vidro. 2-3 on the sacrifice.
I'll tell you what, Sir Sidney hasn't done anything wrong in his kingdom tonight. Boy. He walked his first time. Look, watch him just deaden it. That's a jab step, but he got real lucky. That's not real good technique. And as you can see, he's not built for speed. Full figure guy.
Yeah, he's built for comfort.
Fills out his uniform very nicely. But he got the job done.
Top of the order for David Eckstein. A walk, a run, a base hit. That's a typical start of an evening for him. This guy loves to shoot the ball to right field. Bullpen busy early. Jason Bergman, he came on yesterday and pitched a scoreless 9th inning, giving up 1 hit to the Reds. Randy St. Clair back to the mound. Right now it's probably a release point problem that O'Connor's having.
Yeah, well, you're right. The release point gets a little bit messed up when you have a little bit of a herky-jerky motion that Mike has. Drops that back arm, and it's got to regroup and get back on top, and he's got to remember to stay on top of the baseball with those 2 fingers. You know, getting back to yesterday's game for just a second, Bob, the one good thing that was taken out of that game, I think Ramon Ortiz was reborn a little bit. He had by far the best stuff that he has had since spring training. I mean, he didn't even have that kind of stuff in spring training. Yeah. He had that fastball up to about 93, had an excellent breaking ball, a little bit of a slurve, and then the hard slider. So yeah. I think there was a lot of positive signs yesterday because he came in with only 2 strikeouts in 18 innings or 16 innings, and he struck out 6 yesterday.
And he's looking at a 1-0 game if he doesn't throw away the double play ball.
Mm-hmm.
That one got to the inner edge of the plate to even the count 1-1.
You know, so when you get a healthy John Patterson in there, if Ortiz can pitch like he did yesterday, you know Levon's going to come back. The situation's not that bleak.
Off-speed pitch.
And that was a changeup. He really hasn't thrown that pitch over the plate much. That slow curveball has been a lot more effective for him.
He just can't throw his fastball for strikes right now.
You're right. You're right. He's much more accurate with that curveball. Talk about the hardest pitch to control, especially in this day and age. Getting that pitch called a strike.
Eckstein got jammed and popped it up on the infield. Jose Vidro for the second out. The play we were talking about yesterday. If Ramon Ortiz turns this double play, it would have been 1-0 Cincinnati early on the David Ross home run.
Yeah, and then right here, Encarnacion, who else, bloops one in there, and it takes a funky hop by Ryan Church, and a couple more runs scored.
I think what's happening here, the Nationals are not hitting all of a sudden, and it's magnifying everything that happens on the mound and in the field.
Good point.
You make one mistake and it kills you. The Nats have had 3 singles now in their last 15 innings at the plate.
Yeah.
And obviously no runs. It goes back to the 8th inning against the Reds on Tuesday night. 1-0 to Hector Luna, who has flied out twice. One hopper, Royce Clayton. He will plant and throw. Right on target. And that's a big play with Pujols on deck. A leadoff walk. Taguchi stranded. Cardinals have left 5. We go to the 5th in St. Louis. The Nats are down by 3. Top of the 5th inning. That's the old courthouse here in St. Louis. And here's some MLB news and notes. Barry Bonds homered last night, 3 behind Babe Ruth. Kevin Mench changed his shoes. They got him bigger shoes, and evidently they were home run shoes. He hadn't hit one in forever, and he's hitting 6 in a row. How about that?
That's Shrek for you.
Jose Guillen with a high drive to right center. Edmonds runs back, and he is there.
Boy, Edmonds is really good. He took off as soon as that ball was being struck by the bat of Guillen. He was making a beeline to right center field and the wall, and he got there easily.
And this is the one part of this ballpark that has similar dimensions to RFK. In the deep gaps, it's right around 395 or so.
Yeah, you know, looking out there, it does look like a big yard. It looks about the same size as RFK. I know the ball carries a lot better here, though.
Albert Pujols told me it really carries down the lines. But, you know, that's Albert Pujols talking.
Yeah.
Everything carries when he hits it.
Why is that?
Because he's good. 2-0 to Ryan Church.
He's real good.
Ryan Church swung at the first pitch, his first at bat. And he fouled one off, then he took strike 3. Nats need hits. Where are the hits? That ball is well hit to center. Edmonds racing back, and it is up against the bottom of the wall. Church into second with a 400-foot double.
Wow, boy, he just scalded that one. That was a liner with underspin on it. Just carried over Jim Edmonds' head. Edmonds looks like he's hurting a little bit.
He always looks like that after the play.
That's true. Boy, he just went down and got that pitch down and out over the plate. Oh, right at the top, about another foot, and that's out of here.
Yeah.
Good job by Ryan Church. Boy, they need him to get hot again, or somebody to get hot. Get things going over here. The Ponzone, I think, has done a nice job of, you know, that pitch he threw to Nick Johnson pretty much tells you the movement. He just froze him with that swing back fastball, came over the inside part and got a strikeout last inning.
Here's where Ryan Zimmerman needs to use the bat to make up for part of that error. He can't make it all up with one swing, but he could get some of it back, either a run or 2. He bounced to third first time up. The Nats have hit some shots against Ponzone here in the 5th.
That was a little breaking ball strike right down the middle. There's another hanging breaking ball.
Yeah, that was right around the inside half, and evidently Zimmerman felt handcuffed by it.
Well, You know, when you're in a funk at the plate, your hands move forward. Remember what Frank Robinson told us, slow down your body and trust your hands. But if your hands move forward a little bit, you can't pull the trigger even on a hanging breaking ball.
Zimmerman pops it up right side. That'll be well out of play.
Believe me, when you're in a funk at the plate, you're behind the fast. He's got it, that little extra move right there. And see where he makes contact. The ball is already by him on the fastball. He's got to get that bat out there about another 8 to 10 inches.
Runner at second, 1 out. Nats down by 3, and a chance to get on the board here in the 5th. Zimmerman takes, low and away, and the sliding Molina, who learned how to do that from Mike Matheny, smothered it.
Well, I'll tell you what, he made that look easy, doesn't he? So now, if you're a pitcher on this team, you can throw that splitter anytime you want. You don't have to worry about a guy at third base. Bounce a curveball, bounce a slider, because you know this guy's going to stop it.
Zimmerman pops it up left side. Over by the dugout. It'll stay, and the play is made by Spezia. We've been told by some of the Cardinals that the ball seems to stay in play over on the third base side. There's a little opening in the upper deck up there.
Yeah, there is. Sure
and
is.
a breeze comes through there and keeps the balls in.
You know, there's a place just like that at the Great American Ballpark, too, in Cincinnati. There's a little bit more foul ground here than at most ballparks, but that's to accommodate those plush seats behind home plate, they tell us. The green ones down there?
Yeah.
They feed you, they do everything.
Here's Schneider. Brian bounced out sharply to Luna first time up. Well, the Nationals just got their first extra base hit in nearly 2 entire games. They need to cash this thing in here in the 5th and get on the board against Sidney Ponson.
Boy, one thing about Edmonds in center field, he really is playing shallow, isn't he? Look at him out there. It looks like he's playing at Roman center if you were in a softball game. There's a lot of room between him and the ball. Now he's backing up a couple steps, but look at how compared to these guys, well, I'll tell you what, he is way shallow in center. Andrew Jones also plays a very shallow center field, as we saw last weekend at RFK, regardless of how big the ballpark is. And they still go back on the ball great.
In the old days when the parks were bigger, there were guys who played like that. Kurt Flood did it here in St. Louis, and Paul Blair did it in Baltimore.
Yeah, right.
1 ball, 1 strike. Schneider goes the other way sharply right at Spezia. Nats are gone. A 1-out double. When we come back for the bottom of the 5th, Albert Pujols will lead off for St. Louis. The Cardinals lead the net. Yeah, they start them early here in St. Louis. Future Cardinal fans.
Do they dye their hair red?
I wouldn't put it past them. Hey, you can take the Chief home with you on Saturday, June 10th. Nats take on the Phillies. It'll be Chad Cordero bobblehead night, the first in a series of 3. Visit nationals.com to purchase tickets and check out the full list of Nationals promotional dates. Thanks to the Chief for joining us tonight, talking about how to keep sharp out there in the bullpen when the save opportunities are few and far between like they are right now.
I'll tell you one thing, you know, just watching Cordero pitch, he control when he's on, he will throw that fastball. He'll spot it in 4 different spots, up and in, up and away, down and in, and down and away. And that's what makes him so effective. And plus, he's got guts. He's got the guts of a burglar out there.
Albert Pujols 0 for 2 with the fly to center, ground ball to short. Good location. Ball 1. Bottom of the 5th. Cardinals and the Nats each have 3 hits. That one under the E out on the scoreboard tells the tale of this one. Albert Pujols on a 3-game hitting streak came in 5 for his last 10, and he reaches out and flies one high in the air to right center. Church will call off Guillen, and Albert Pujols is 0 for 3.
How about that? He's got 6 game-winning RBIs already.
Had a base hit last game in the 9th inning yesterday.
Well, he hasn't hit a ball hard yet tonight. He takes a fastball away. 2-0 on the changeup down. And he just doesn't get it. Well, usually you can see him drive that ball hard to the right center field gap like a laser. Not tonight.
I would imagine the Cardinals had very little or no video to look at regarding Mike O'Connor.
Obviously none, yeah.
Encarnacion pops one on a play to the right side. The count's 1-1. St. Louis is 14-7. They've won 3 in a row. They're a game behind Houston in the National League Central. A half game behind Cincinnati. So if they win, there are 3 teams at the top of that division within a half game. And Cincinnati is playing Houston this weekend in Cincinnati, starting tomorrow night. The only other game today involving a National League East club, as we mentioned earlier, Phillies lost at home to the Rockies 6-3. The Phillies' home record is now 5-10.
Ouch.
Of course, that 1-7 for our ball club doesn't feel too good either.
No. I'll tell you one that you mentioned about the no video about Mike O'Connor. And that's very true. He would have an advantage, but every left-hander too is different. They've got a different style. There's a good changeup.
Very good. Second major league strikeout. Now the one thing that might get him out here after 5 innings, he's up around 90 pitches and he is due to bat second in the top of the 6th.
Yeah. Great arm action right here. See, the high ball hitter Encarnacion just can't get down there to hit anything low, especially off speed. But he certainly is different. Right-handers are pretty much the same. But a lefty, it's tough to scout a lefty when he's got a weird motion like Mike O'Connor has.
Jim Edmonds 1 for 2 with a 3-run homer and a taken 3rd strike. One ball, 1 strike.
Edmonds, he's amazing. He'll find a way. You know, he could be hitting 100 for 2 weeks, but he'll get a big hit for you, or he'll make some fantastic catch to help the Cardinals win.
They call it Busch III, the new Busch Stadium in St. Louis. On a Thursday night, Bob Carpenter, Tom Paciorek with you here on Masson. We'll be on DCA 20 tomorrow night for Game 2 of this 4-game weekend series. Inaugural season, Busch Stadium. That drawing there is what the outside of the stadium looks like over on the left side. It's a recreation of the first bridge across the Mississippi, the Eads Bridge. Jim Edmonds almost hit one over the Mississippi back in the first. 3-0 St. Louis. Well, if that's it for Mike O'Connor, I think he represented Ellicott City, Maryland and GWU very well tonight. In-game box score for the Nats. Alfonso Soriano, the extent of the offense other than a double by Ryan Church in the 5th inning. Soriano 2 for 2. He'll bat 3rd in this inning. Looks like Royce Clayton, Darrell Ward, and Soriano here in the 5th. That's top of the 6th inning. Wow. A little more, few more hits than that. I think it's 4. 3 singles and a double. But over the last 16 innings, hey, whether it's 2 or 4, where's the offense?
Yeah, and at the time that this tailspin started, they were swinging the bats great, hitting line drives all over the ballpark.
By the way, Mike O'Connor will come out of his first major league start with an ERA of 0.00.
Yeah.
All 3 runs unearned. Royce Clayton bounced to short first time. Couldn't stop his swing. Well, he does, says Bob Davidson down at first base. Haven't had any balks called tonight.
Balking Bob.
3-2 now to Clayton.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, that was borderline.
Ooh, he could have called it.
Base runners needed, and there's one. A leadoff walk ahead of the number 9 spot. Now they're calling. Actually, that was Marlon Byrd in the on-deck circle, I believe.
Sure was.
Yeah, I thought it was Darrell Ward at first, and now they will bring out former St. Louis Cardinal Marlon Anderson with another one. Royce Clayton on first base. Frank does that a lot, though. He'll do a lot of decoying in his on-deck circle.
Boy, Mike, welcome to the big leagues. He didn't get his first major league hit tonight, but I think he deserves a few more starts.
Well, he only had one at bat. Give the guy a break.
Saying he didn't get a hit, though.
Maybe the Nats will get 4 runs here and give him his first win.
That would be great.
That was the first walk issued by Sidney Ponson tonight. That's the 3rd inning out of 6 the Nationals have had their leadoff man aboard. Marlon Anderson needs to start collecting some pinch hits here. He's 1 for 13.
You know, I've seen Sidney Ponson pitch a lot in his early years with the Baltimore Orioles, and I don't think I've ever seen him pitch this well in a ball game. I mean, he's got command of everything, keeping the ball down. He's got good movement on everything. He's not overpowering, but he's not trying to overpower anybody, which is, I think, his strength.
Mike O'Connor goes 5 innings, 3 runs, all unearned, 3 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, a homer, 92 pitches, and he retired 11 of the last 13 St. Louis hitters he faced.
Not too shabby.
0-2. Marlon Anderson has to make contact here. They're going to jam him, and that pitch is right out over the plate.
There's that same pitch he got Nick Johnson on, that swing back fastball. Very impressive. Here's O'Connor. Good fastball, freezes Jim Edmonds, and a nice changeup gets Encarnacion.
Top of the order, Alfonso Soriano, 2 for 2. Had his 11-game streak snapped last night. He has looked hitterish against Ponson, who works on him with a breaking ball. Alfonso came in batting .315. And it's 0-2. Ponson ahead of his 2nd consecutive hitter. No balls, 2 strikes.
You know, the thing about Ponson too tonight, he's getting away with every hanging breaking ball, and that's hard to understand unless he's got such a tight spin on it that the Nats hitters aren't picking it up, or everybody's in a deep funk at the plate. And when he breaks off a good one, they got no chance.
Soriano has to protect here. He should see one down and away.
Yep.
Couldn't reach it. Strikeout number 4 for Ponson. The last time the Nationals had 2 hits in the same inning, the 6th inning on Tuesday night when they scored a run.
Late breaker right here. Watch Alfonso. Looking fastball, trying to redirect the swing on the curve. That went straight down. That's nasty.
It's up to Jose Vidro now to keep this inning alive. If he can get aboard here, give Nick Johnson a chance to bat as the tying run. Who knows what might happen. Right to the second baseman, Hector Luna. Where are the hits? Only 3 of them tonight. And we played 5.5 in St. Louis. The Cardinals, well, they got him for 3 unearned, but a good job by Busch Stadium in St. Louis, bottom of the 6th inning coming up. Spezio, Molina, and Taguchi. And our in-game box score for the St. Louis Cardinals. The story of this game is one swing by Jim Edmonds. A 3-run homer after Ryan Zimmerman had thrown an Encarnacion ground ball into the dirt that Nick Johnson could not pick. And Jim Edmonds made it hurt brutally with a 3-run homer right after that. That's the difference in the game. Jason Bergman will make his 4th appearance. He's coming off a scoreless inning yesterday against the Cincinnati Reds. Scott Spezio now will turn around bat left-handed. He's a versatile utility guy who can do a lot of things, and on the first pitch, he's gone. Molina next, and then Taguchi. Well, the Nationals pitchers have to just keep this thing close and hope that the offense can generate some runs. And when you come and play the Cardinals, you're not looking at a lights out bullpen like you are in Houston or maybe the Mets. Jason Isringhausen has had a couple of blown saves, and their bullpen has struggled with some of the guys in front of him. So there's still some baseball to be played here tonight, but the Nats have only 9 outs left. Oh-2 pitch. Bergman just nibbling at the outside corner. The Yankees now have taken the lead from the Devil Rays. It was 1-0 Rays. It's 4-1 New York now. And Molina is gone as Bergman blows him away. We are high atop our perch here behind home plate at Busch Stadium, downtown St. Louis. It's a long way up. This is higher than the other ballpark, and the riders are about 50 feet above us, and they're not happy about that at all.
Yeah, some of them, especially the back row riders, I understand. This reminds me a lot of the view that you have at like Fenway Park, but still a great ballpark, great venue.
Yeah, the riders are up there under that Bud Light sign. There's only about 100,000 of those in the St. Louis area.
Oh, yeah.
Anheuser-Busch, the main brewery, is about maybe 1.5 miles south of the ballpark here. A huge corporate citizen here, and their influence seen throughout St. Louis baseball. That's a good job by So Taguchi. He gets a base hit. That'll get the pitcher up here in the 6th inning.
Taguchi's a pretty darn good hitter now. An old number 99.
Yeah. You know, but the trend in all these new ballparks, and we saw this happen in Pittsburgh, the prime elevations right behind home plate now are all sold. They're not for the media anymore.
Oh, really?
The riders are way upstairs under the Bud Light sign. We're just below that. Can you draw that, Tom?
What, this?
Yeah, that's where the press box is.
Yeah, those guys are real happy.
And, you know, the prime locations are now being sold by ball clubs, not given to the media. And there's some unhappiness about that in different places around this great game.
Well, you know, there's a lot of scouts that are upset, too, about some of the places, too. They used to sit right about in here. And those are going for
those are
big
going for
money
$200 a game easily.
Yeah, but they feed them. They're not going to feed those scouts. Imagine feeding Moose Stugan. Go.
Ponson laces one to center. This is what I was talking about earlier. You got a young pitcher out there having a hard time closing out the inning, and in the National League you have to do that against the 8 or 9 guy.
Yeah. Well, he just threw that fastball right down the middle. A lot of guys are going to hit that pitch, and apparently Sidney Ponson is one of them.
And here we are again. You're down by 3 because there's no offense. Every pitch is critical. Within 3, you still feel like you have a shot. When it gets to 4 or 5, you really kind of lose your hope. Not that the players do, but all of us that are sitting up here, folks, living and dying with you during this tough streak the Nats are going through. Everything is magnified when the ball club's not hitting.
Yeah, a lot more pressure on the pitchers and the defense to make some kind of play and get him out of this mess.
Eckstein's a contact man. The ball will be hit somewhere during this at bat. David Eckstein, 87 official at bats on the year, and he has struck out 6 times.
I'm surprised it's that many.
Out of play to the right side, 1 ball, 1 strike. He's the kind of guy that every manager loves to have in his club. Tom talked about La Russa earlier, just loving this kid. David comes from a family down in Florida that's had a whole slew of health problems.
Yes.
Almost every member of his immediate family has been touched by cancer. He's been the one healthy one that's kind of had to hold everybody together over the last couple of years. His father's been seriously ill, a sister. Well, I think the Angels really let some intangibles go when they let this guy go.
Absolutely.
2 balls, 1 strike. Out to center. Right there is Ryan Church, and the Cardinals will strand 2 in the 6th. They have left 7. Nick Johnson in the 7th for the Cards, or rather for the Nats. Guillen and Church to follow. Nick Johnson getting ready to take his cuts in the top of the 7th inning. Game 2 tomorrow night. Tony Armas Jr. and Jason Marquis, who's a big-time sinker ball pitcher. Great matchup when we join you on Saturday at 2:15. That'll be first pitch on the air at 2. Livan Hernandez and Chris Carpenter. And the Nationals don't know who's pitching Sunday yet. At the same time, 2:15 against Jeff Suppan. So tomorrow night, DCA 20 back on Masson Saturday, Sunday. And there's your defending Cy Young Award winner, New Hampshire's own Chris Carpenter.
Was it Exeter, New Hampshire?
I believe you're right.
Not many ball players come out of Exeter.
But he lives in Bedford.
Ah, that's nice. What was it? I think Carlton Fisk was from New Hampshire.
A lot of lobsters are from there.
Yeah. They always taste good.
Nick Johnson 0 for 2. Ponsone's got that little funky hesitation.
Yes.
As he takes the ball back behind his hip.
And I don't know if that's really messing up the hitters, because I always felt like he was pretty easy to see if you were at the plate. But there is a slight hesitation that may be forcing a little awkward situation for the hitter. Not many good swings tonight, by the way.
Nick fouls one up or deck left side. 2 balls and a strike. Nick Johnson, he is 0 for his last 6 and still batting .368. Ponson really fooling people with that fastball.
Yeah.
You better be careful now. He's going to throw it right at your hands and run it out over the plate. He's done that a couple of times, including Nick Johnson last time up. Got to be looking for that and then hope you can react to a breaking ball. Didn't miss by much as he went low and away that time.
Yeah, he's tucking a little bit, that chin to that front shoulder, and there's that little bit of a hesitation that you were talking about earlier, Bob. And I don't know, it seems like it's really messing up the hitters.
Nick rips it. That's a fair ball into the right field corner. Encarnacion will have to come way forward to get it, and the Nationals have another double. That's a leadoff extra base hit. Been a while since we've seen one of those. And Nick Johnson turns on one and collects his 6th double of the year.
Nick, see where he makes contact way out in front of the plate. A little bit of an off-speed pitch. Boy, that was close to being foul.
Tony La Russa arguing with Bob Davidson over the call.
I think Tony's got a pretty good beef. Although he can't really see that well.
And there's no way you can win one of these arguments.
No.
Or any for that matter. But I say no, you say yes.
Tony's saying if the great Pujols can't get there, it's got to be foul.
So Nick has 11 extra base hits, his 6 doubles to go with his 5 homers. Here's where the Nats need to string a couple of hits together.
Yeah.
If they do, they can change the complexion of this game, because the St. Louis offense has been shut down. Jose Guillen takes a strike.
Another high slider that guys are taking. You don't ask Guillen to give himself up here, because his natural swing is to hit the ball to left center to right center.
That one was hanging, but it was too far inside. Yadier Molina doesn't like it, and they will visit. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Washington Nationals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Nationals. Bob Carpenter, Tom Pichorek here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 3-0 Cardinals. It's been that way since the first. Is that about to change?
Yes.
Guillen really hits this ball hard. And Taguchi is back to get it. That guy gets a great jump on the ball.
Oh, man. It's like having an extra center fielder. Guillen can't believe it, and I can't either. That ball was scalding. And, you know, Taguchi is playing in left center field, but he gets a terrific jump on the ball, and he's standing there.
That's not even an exceptional play because of the jump he got.
Unbelievable.
He made it look so easy.
Yeah. But he does play. Give him the line is what they're doing here because the big part of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a hang woofing.
But they do have 2 center fielders playing. Guillen still can't believe it. Here's Ryan Church, who doubled off the center field wall last time and came probably within 2 feet of his 5th homer.
Boy, when things go bad, they just stay bad, don't they? It's amazing. You just can't find the hole, even when you hit the ball great. Good changeup.
Brad Thompson, who came out of nowhere last year for St. Louis as a setup guy in the Cardinals bullpen. Get a good look at him if he comes in. He looks like he's about 15. They call him Opie.
He looks young.
1 ball, 1 strike. Church out to center.
Get down.
Edmonds is right there. And Zimmerman up with another chance to cut into that St. Louis lead. Sidney Ponson.
Tell you what, Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan are real happy in that first base dugout.
So's Walt Jocketty, the GM here.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
He only had to pay about $1 million to Ponson to get him to sign here. Nobody else wanted the guy.
Yeah.
After all the off the field problems he had. He does have an incentive or 2 in that contract, but he's not going to cost St. Louis anything unless he really does something.
Yeah. Tell you what, he's really doing something.
And that's their 5th starter.
Yeah.
There's a good take by Ryan Zimmerman. Walt Jocketty and his wife Sue alongside has been the GM here since October of '94. Previously in Oakland for a while, where he got to know La Russa, and he was also with Bob Gebhardt in Colorado before he came to St. Louis. That's one of the best GMs in the game right there.
Yep.
He's also my sister's boss.
That's good too.
Breaking ball outside, 3-0.
Well, you told me that your sister runs everything around this place.
Well, this is my sister Judy, 40th year with the Cardinals.
Isn't that amazing? She started when she was 4.
And of course, I wasn't born yet.
Of course.
3-0 to Zimmerman. Taken all the way.
So BP fastball right there. It looked like Mike Bodeker's old Foch right down the middle.
Nationals need a big 2-out hit here. Even a single just to get on the board. Zimmerman was locked up and the pitch was off the plate. And a chance now for Brian Schneider, representing the tying run. Ponson with a 2nd walk of the night. Dave Duncan out to the mound. The infield will converge for a powwow here. And Brian Schneider couldn't pick a better time than the present for his first home run of the year.
Yeah, Duncan ran out there, so you can be sure that something important is going to be discussed right now in the way they want to pitch to Brian Schneider. Dunk's moving pretty good.
Ponson at 87. Two on, two out. The Yankees beat Tampa Bay 4-1. That's a final. Cleveland got 8 runs off Josh Beckett and lead the Red Sox 12-3 in the 7th. And the Orioles now 7-2 in the 9th at Toronto. Chris Benson for the Orioles tonight came into that game 2-2 with a 3.70 ERA. Not bad.
No,
they're trying to break a 4-game losing streak. Schneider, 2 ground balls. And Ponson continues to pound him low. St. Louis bullpen with Thompson now firing quickly. Brian Schneider hoping to get something he can drive here on 2-0.
absolutely.
He drives it right field line, heading for the corner, and around to score is Johnson. Zimmerman to third, sending him is Beasley. He chugs home, and it's a 3-2 game.
Wow. Brian Schneider, 2 RBIs. That's 6 on the year. Boy, were those things needed. You know, the Cardinals just couldn't put the knockout punch on the Nats. They hung in there, so finally we got a ball game now. And the tying run is in scoring position. There's a 2-0 fastball out over the plate. He just goes out and hooks it. That's what Brian's problem has been. He's not been able to get the head of the bat out front. That time he did. Hopefully more of the same. As here comes Nick, and then comes Zimmerman, and there is Tony La Russa.
Out goes Ponson. Ponson goes 6 2/3. The 2-out walk to Zimmerman hurt him. Schneider drives in 2, and the Nationals are back in the game now and into the same. Well, the Nats have a chance to take a W away from Sidney Ponson here. The tying runs at second with 2 outs in the 7th. And Brad Thompson, believe it or not, looking at that face, 24 years of age. This guy came out of nowhere last year and pitched in 40 games for St. Louis with an ERA of under 3. And he won all 4 of his decisions.
And how about the numbers so far? 113 earned run average. You know, his numbers in the minor leagues were 17-6, 2.83. So he's had great success.
16th round draft choice 4 years ago, and a big spot for ex-Cardinal Royce Clayton to tie the game here. Clayton and La Russa have a history. It goes back to 96 here. He's bounced out to short and walked. Ozzie Smith was coming off some shoulder problems, and La Russa said during spring training that whoever played better would win the shortstop job. Ozzie Smith out-hit Royce Clayton in spring training, and Clayton was the opening day shortstop. Ozzie Smith never forgave Tony La Russa and announced his retirement 2 months later. At the end of the 96 season, then he hung it up. Tony, of course, knew a lot about Clayton when La Russa was in Oakland, and Royce Clayton was starting his career in '91 with the Giants. He was here in St. Louis for 3 years.
Those were some big shoes to fill, though. Ozzie Smith, still, in my opinion, the greatest defensive infielder I've ever seen. You see his number retired.
1-2 outside target, and Royce lays off. Ball gets away. Runner holds.
Yadier might have been Deacon Schneider over there thinking, well, maybe he'll run.
Yeah.
Pretend like I don't know where the ball is, and then fire a laser over there and get him by about 30 feet.
He probably learned that from those conniving older brothers.
Probably. Boy, I'll tell you what, that So Taguchi is playing all. He's used to playing center field. He's almost next to Edmonds, isn't he? Look at where he is. Look at all that distance between him and the line. You can just hook one down there. No wonder he's always there.
Yeah, the 375 mark on the left center field wall is directly behind Taguchi. If you drew a line from home plate through him to that marking.
And Guillen hit that ball right about in here.
Yeah, we see left fielders play that way at Fenway. We see him do it in Houston.
Yeah, they just figured, well, heck, if you're going to pull the ball, that's okay, but we'll take everything away in the gap.
2-2 to Clayton. He reaches, gets it up the middle. The ball is booted by Luna. Oh my gosh, you've got to score on that play. Brian Schneider stopping at third. Then he started, then he stopped again as Luna kicked the ball about 50 or 60 feet away.
Yeah.
Should have been an RBI hit, and the Nationals now have runners at first and third with 2 outs.
Yeah, check it out. Nice job by Royce to go out and get that curveball. Wasn't hitting real hard, but Luna, as you mentioned, off his tip of his glove, and then he kicks it, which would allow anybody to score. But Brian Schneider, see how he slowed up and then he stopped, and then he just can't turn it on again.
Oh boy, here's Marlon Byrd batting in the pitcher's spot. You would hate to look back and see that cost you a game. That's the tying run sitting over there. Nationals pinch hitters are really struggling now. At last count, with Anderson being retired, 5 out of 42 on the year. A batting mark of 119. Well, the Nats are working some counts here.
Yeah, Darrell Ward has been the one guy coming off the bench that has really been effective. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of surprised he's not hitting right now.
Yeah, Frank evidently saving him for the next time around. Red Thompson had everybody moving around on that play. You know, that play works once in a while. Your old friend Aaron Rowan got picked off in Philadelphia 2 weeks on that play, 2 weeks ago.
Chet Lemon got picked off every time he was tried.
Bird to the left side. Brian Schneider wasn't running on that play. There were 2 outs. A very odd inning, but the Nats pick up 2 as Schneider drives them home. The old Pageant Theater, downtown St. Louis.
Did you hang out there?
That was not exactly in my neighborhood. We couldn't afford to get over there. Our bikes didn't go that far. Here's Gary Majeski to pitch against St. Louis. 3-2 ball game now, and we'll see if the bullpen can continue to do the Hold'em job here. Bergman had a scoreless 6th. Majeski here in the 7th.
Welcome to the game.
And Gary misses 2-0. It's now 15-3 Boston trailing Cleveland.
Jeez.
They're only in the 7th inning at Jacobs Field. They started an hour before we did here. Uh-oh, 3-0. You can't go out and score 2 runs and then walk the leadoff guy. We're told that Ben Broussard of Cleveland is having a good week tonight. 8 RBIs. 4 hits, 2 homers. Gary Majeski nowhere near the plate with any of those. And all you've done is put yourself into the stretch to deal with Albert Pujols.
Yeah, that was amazing because none of those 4 pitches was remotely close. Joey Eischen, who has pitched well his last couple times up, and Randy St. Clair on his way out to the mound. Whew. I thought Majeski pitched well. He gave up the 3-run homer to Wilson Betemit on Sunday, but he came in against Cincinnati and he was working in some breaking balls, some pitches that actually looked like curveballs too, along with his sinking fastball.
Left-hander Joey Eischen with Jim Edmonds in mind, 2 hitters from now.
Yep.
Runner going, and Pujols shoots one into the seats right side.
There's no way I run with Pujols at the plate.
We know David Eckstein in the 9th inning yesterday could have gone first to third on a base hit. He said he purposely stopped at second so they would not walk Pujols.
That's a smart thing to do. You can't run with Pujols at the plate. Not now.
La Russa, though, will do that from time to time because, as you mentioned earlier, Tom, he's a power hitter who makes contact.
Absolutely. Well, if maybe it was the hit and run he put on, but I don't think so. Not after 4 straight balls. I think Luna was probably going on his own. That would be my guess anyway.
1 ball, 1 strike. He's got a big lead. That was begging for a throw.
I think Dave McKay's got to go over there and slap him upside the head and tell him to stay right here.
Looked like Majeski speeded up his delivery, and he missed 2-1. Gary has thrown 7 pitches, 6 balls. Albert Pujols 0 for 3 tonight. That's a good breaking ball, but it just misses.
And when you're throwing 6 out of 7 balls, you're likely not to get that borderline pitch, especially when the great Pujols is at the plate.
Three and 1. 1-run game. They described him as a Rule 5 guy, as a potential 5-tool player.
We don't get many 5-tool guys in the Rule 5 draft.
No, those 5s don't match up usually, do they? 3-1. He's going again, and Albert Pujols pops it out of play.
Well, he'll definitely be running on 3 and 2 here.
In fact, Hector Luna was a Rule 5 guy twice. Tampa Bay took him from Cleveland. St. Louis took him from Tampa Bay.
So there you have it. He's a 10-tool player.
He's a Rule 10 player.
I'm not so sure about that one. I mean, everybody can't be wrong on a 5-tool guy.
3-2. You certainly expect Luna to be running now. Ball 4.
I got to think Tony will bunt with Encarnacion.
Right field, Juan Encarnacion.
I would give up a guy hitting about 220.
Oh, absolutely.
You have Edmonds next. The Nats could walk him. But then you have a switch hitter, Spezio, behind.
I take my chances with that. Encarnacion has 1 sacrifice bunt.
Encarnacion 0 for 3. And his first swing of the bat tonight was the most damaging one other than the Edmonds homer. A little bouncer down to third that Zimmerman threw in the dirt with 2 outs. That's how St. Louis got all of its runs on the next swing by Jim Edmonds. That's a really bad looking bunt attempt right there for strike 1.
Well, and it was looked like it was a bunt attempt at a ball, a high fastball out of the zone. Jake Okenda walks all the way down the home plate to check with Encarnacion.
John Roush has joined Joey Eischen. When the teams were warming up on the field before the game, Mike Shannon, the Cardinal broadcaster, came over to me and said, "Who is that?" I said, "Meet John Roush."
Herman Munster.
Play at third. They got it. And then Zimmerman faking the throw. So they got the leading runner here. Well pounced by Majeski. It went 1-5.
And there you see it. Yeah, he just kind of jabs at it. It's too close to the pitcher's mound, and Majeski, as Bob mentioned, is right on that one. So Edmonds is going to be the hitter. I guess Frank is going to let Majeski pitch to him.
Jim Edmonds 1 for 3 with a 3-run homer. Tailing fastball misses away. Pujols at second. Encarnacion at first. And Albert Pujols, who's a big guy, is maybe the second best base runner on this team, behind another huge individual, Scott Rowland, believe it or not. Now, I'm not saying the fastest guys, but the best 2 base runners. Scott Rowland is remarkable. He's home with bronchitis, not even at the ballpark tonight, and the count's 2-1.
Yeah, you don't have to be fast to be a great base runner. That's about a letter-high fastball he hit out of there. I always thought maybe the best base runner I had ever played against was George Brett. He wasn't fast at all.
Right. 2-2 to Edmonds now.
Oh boy, don't throw that one again.
Yeah, that ball will go over the bullpen.
I don't even know what it was. It might have been a slow curveball. It was 80 miles an hour, and maybe that was the only reason it wasn't hit hard, because of the speed of the pitch. You see, Edmonds in the 7th inning or later is really struggling with that 182 batting average. Need to make a pitch.
Yep, 2 on, 1 out. 2-2 to Edmonds.
Now, do you start these runners?
Edmonds strikes out a lot, and you have nobody standing between the catcher and third base. Risky move.
I wouldn't run them.
They're holding. That ball has popped up on the left side. Zimmerman drifting in the foul ground, and he's right there for the second out. Join the Nationals Saturday, May 6th. That's 1 week from this Saturday. They'll battle the Pirates on cap night. For fans 21 and older, you can take home a Nationals cap courtesy of Bud Light. To buy tickets and check out a full list of Nationals giveaways and promotions, visit nationals.com. Two on, 2 out. Spezio the batter. Well, you get an out here, you get the top of the order in the 8th if you're Washington.
Yeah, this is a big hitter right here, especially since the Nats battled back for 2 runs, and they've had so many problems trying to put points on the board. I'll tell you, this Cardinal lineup just doesn't look as solid without Rowland, does it?
Yeah, he's a difference maker. Ooh, cutting in front of the bag, and I'm glad he did, was Clayton.
Yeah, but you know, not to degrade Spezio by any means, but Scott's a good player, but he's a good player coming off the bench right now. So
yeah,
he's a lot more valuable to the team as that utility guy.
And Rowland's off to a good start, batting .313 with 13 RBIs after the shoulder problem he had last year.
And he's the only guy that can protect Pujols.
This one's well hit to right center. Up against the wall. Spezio driving home 1 and 2. St. Louis has a 3-run lead again. The leadoff walk. In fact, 2 leadoff walks. Scott Spezio goes from 5 to 7 RBIs with 1 swing.
Down, but Beltai tailing right over the middle of the plate. He's a good low ball hitter. And he went down and got that one. 2 runners score easily. Yeah, that was just a bad pitch right over the middle of the plate. It looked like Majeski had a chance to work out of this jam. But he just didn't make that big pitch when he had to.
Here's Molina with the runner at second, 2 outs. Orioles gave up 3 runs in the 9th and still won at Toronto 7-5. So this game and the one in Cleveland, the slugfest by the Tribe, the only 2 games going on in baseball now. Molina 0 for 3 tonight. That one's right in there. Crazy game. The hits are even at 6. The Cardinals lead 5-2 now. Got him on a pitch down and away, and a damaging bottom of the 7th is over. It started with 2 walks, and the Cardinals got 2 on the Spezio double. The Nats are down by 3 again. Top of the 8th inning, Busch Stadium, St. Louis. The new Busch Stadium with 39,515 watching tonight. Brian Schneider. Been a while since he's driven in a couple. He did that with 1 swing in the 7th. And then on a ball that was booted by Hector Luna, he failed to score to tie the game. Did it matter? Well, we don't know. The Cardinals just picked up 2 more on the Scott Spezio double. It's the top of the order for the Nats against Brad Thompson in the Washington 8th. Thompson came on to give up that hit by Clayton off the spikes of Luna, and then he got Marlon Byrd, the pinch hitter, to bounce out. Breaking ball hangs up and into Alfonso Soriano. He's 2 for 3.
He's got a baby face, doesn't he? Got a good arm, though.
He's got a grown man's fastball. Soriano tries to turn on it. 2-hopper to David Eckstein. He always just gets it there in time.
Just enough.
You put David Eckstein and Brad Thompson out there, you'd look like you were starting an American Legion team. Hard to believe David Eckstein's 31. Here's Jose Vidro. He's 0 for 3.
They had a little thing on between innings about who would play him in the movie, and he says, well, everybody says Macaulay Culkin.
Jose 0 for his last 5. Left-hander Randy Flores for the Cardinals. Vidro tried to pull an outside pitch. That'll bring up Nick Johnson with 2 outs and the bases empty. Yesterday, the Nationals went without a whimper in the last 2 innings. They did get a couple of 9th inning walks, did not have a hit after the 5th, and the game before they didn't have a hit after the 7th. If everything had gone the way it was supposed to, fundamentally, Brian Schneider's double would have put the Nats up 2-0.
Yep.
Not made it a 3-2 game. Seems like something's happening every day to this ball club to put themselves into a hole. Nick Johnson shoots one out of play, and it's quickly 0-2. They're finally in the 9th in Cleveland. Indians 15-3. So they started that game at 6:05 Central Time. It's almost 9:30 here.
Yeah. 4.5 hours. No, 3.5. That's all.
It only seems 4.5.
Go figure. Bird against Beckett.
And nothing but BBs all over the park.
Yeah.
0-2 to Nick. That was a defensive swing. He saw that breaking ball making a move for the outside corner.
This guy's got good stuff. He's not overpowering, but he's got a nice delivery. Well, he spends a lot of time over the rubber. It looked like Dave Duncan's worked a lot with Thompson. Sharp breaking curveball, really stays on top of it.
That fouled off his foot. St. Louis won the season series last year 4-2. The last time the Ex Spos won a season series for the Cardinals was in '99. Unbalanced schedule the last several years. This will be our only visit here this year. The Cardinals will be in Washington right after Labor Day. 1-2. Way inside to Nick. With the changes in the scheduling, you can really do some things now if your division is not that good.
Yeah.
Last year in the National League Central, you know, they're some pretty good ball clubs. I mean, Houston's in there, Milwaukee was better, but you still have the Pirates and the Cubs, who tend to struggle in the second half of the season. St. Louis was 22 games over 500 last year, just in their own division. Yeah. And they finished 38 games over 500.
Amazing.
They and Houston have dominated the Central, but it's been St. Louis the last 2 years in a runaway. Nick Johnson strikes out. Brad Thompson with his first. And the Nats are down to their final 3 outs. We go bottom 8. It's 5-2 St. Louis. 5-2 St. Louis, bottom of the 8th. And tomorrow night we'll be on DCA 20 for game 2 of this 4-game weekend series. And the sinker ball specialist, although that was a nice breaking ball, Jason Marquis will take on Tony Armas Jr. Tony's been throwing the ball pretty well lately. He just needs a win and a result.
Hey, Jason Marquis is an excellent hitter, too. A great athlete. You know, I'll bet you he's one of the faster guys on this team. They use him as a pinch runner.
And a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
Livan Hernandez and Chris Carpenter on Masson Saturday. So Taguchi. Then they'll pinch hit for Thompson in the number 9 hole. So Taguchi, a walk, a single, and several sparkling plays in left field. And there's the young slugger John Rodriguez, who they got from the Yankees in a trade last June.
J-Rod.
That's what they were calling him when he came up and started hitting home runs. Hit a couple his first week.
Yeah.
3-1. Majeski wouldn't walk the leadoff man again, would he? That's a strike. 3-2. Gary walked the first 2 batters in the 7th. The Nationals had just battled back to make it a 3-2 game. Now one of those runners traded places with a sacrifice guy, and then they both scored on Spezio's double. Fair ball. This kid can run. That ball bounces out in front of Guillen. So Taguchi slowed down and might have been able to get a triple out of that.
I don't know. That would have been close. Safe to get a double because you don't want to make the first out of the inning at third or home. Boy, he just let that ball get almost behind him and just flicks it down the first baseline. He's running. He can run real fast. There you see Guillen. I don't think he'd have gotten to third.
St. Louis warming up 2 pitchers as Rodriguez hits for Brad Thompson. Rodriguez, 28 years of age, signed 10 years ago with the Yankees and was in the minor leagues for almost 9 years before St. Louis traded a minor league catcher for him last June. Josh Hancock is on your right. Jason Isringhausen, the closer. Looks like if St. Louis scores here to make it a non-save situation, Isringhausen might sit down. Cardinals by 3 here in the 8th. And a breaking ball and on the hands of John Rodriguez. Second inning of work for Gary Majeski. We've heard rumblings that the bullpen might be pitching the entire game on Sunday. The Nationals would have to make some kind of move to bring a starter in. Little outside, ball 1. Because of the work on the side that John Patterson would need to do, he doesn't feel he could be ready to start a game on Sunday. He doesn't even think he'd be throwing on the side or playing catch until Saturday. We might be looking at the end of the Mets series before we see him. Little pop fly, Zimmerman over to have a look. He will reach into the dugout and drop the ball. Did he close his glove too soon?
I don't. He was there. I mean, it was a tough play, and he was getting help from his friends over there. And off the end of his glove. I don't know. Maybe he did try and close it. Maybe he stuck his glove in front of his face too, inadvertently.
Well, this is the first bad night in the field we've seen Ryan Zimmerman have.
Yeah.
Rodriguez on a pitch tailing away, foul tipped it. It's over in Cleveland. There's John Patterson. Got that right forearm covered with his Nats fleece to keep it nice and warm. 13-5, Cleveland beat Boston tonight. So everything's over. Josh Beckett, after winning his first 3 starts with an ERA of 2.5, bombed out by the Indians tonight.
Not anymore.
2.50 to 4.50 in one game.
Possibly, yeah. Depending on if there were any unearned runs.
8 earned to 1 unearned.
Ouch.
Rodriguez flies one deep to left center. Ryan Church stalking it on the track. Basket catch. Then he bobbled it. And they're going to call the batter safe. Did he bobble the ball up against the wall? That's the only way the batter could be safe. If he bobbles and then catches, the batter's out. But did the ball hit the wall after he bobbled?
Well, let's take a look at it. It's a fastball out of the plate, hit hard by Rodriguez. Let's see. Boom. Oh yeah,
it hit the wall.
No, he's right. Well, unless he didn't have full possession of it now. Wow.
Frank Robinson made a remark to me during spring training. Getting ready to play a game one day. He said, we need to go out and play one game where we catch the ball and take care of defense for an entire ball game. He was so sick of seeing his defense in spring training. And the Nats in the regular season, pretty solid tonight. Yeah. And Soriano with those plays on Tuesday night. It's been a very difficult week for this ball club. Majeski gone. The Cardinals trying to strike a knockout. 5-2. Cardinals lead the Nationals here. Nobody out. 2 aboard in the 8th. And don't forget, Wednesday nights and even Wednesday day games are college night or day at RFK. Bring your college ID to the box office. You can claim Upper View outfield seats for only $5. College night with the Nats every Wednesday at RFK Stadium. Top of the order, David Eckstein. Felix Rodriguez in for the Nationals to make his 13th appearance.
Don't be surprised if you see a suicide squeeze right here. Tony La Russa likes to seize the moment. And Eckstein handles the bat extremely well.
Infield in. Nationals down by 3. And that hit him. And the bases are loaded. David Eckstein, who does crowd the plate.
Oh, yeah. He's
hit by a pitch for the 4th time this year and the 93rd time in his career.
Turns away from him. Looked like it got him on the just above the elbow.
Aaron Miles, who they signed with Larry Bigby, who's hurt, from Colorado, will bat here with the bases loaded, nobody out. Miles won the second base job in the last weekend of spring training, and he's hitting .304. The Cardinals signed Junior Spivey to be their second baseman, and he hit about $140 in the spring, and they sent him to AAA.
Yeah. With
$1.5 million guaranteed contract. So it's Miles here in the 8th.
Miles is a good scrappy player. Always liked him.
He was really good 2 years ago before he got hurt in Colorado. He was a top candidate for Rookie of the Year. He lifts one out to left center. Ryan Church trying to get his body coming forward. Run will score easily. Taguchi home. Miles collects his 5th RBI, and the Cardinals lead the Nats now 6-2.
No chance right here. Ryan Church with the throw. You see Taguchi's already in there. There's nothing Nook Johnson can do but cut the ball and hope that the runner was tagging from second, trying to go to third.
And I'll tell you another thing. Those runners probably weren't even thinking about going to second and third because of who's coming up. They want Albert Pujols to have an at bat here. Albert Pujols 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. He has scored more runs than anybody in the National League, 24.
Got him right where Pujols wants us. 2-0. It's going to be sitting dead red. If I'm Felix Rodriguez, I'd throw a little slider up there. We know Felix works slowly with men on base. Pujols got tired of waiting once. And here's the 2-0. It's off the plate. Well, I think that pitch was outside. And now he's swinging if he wants to.
.95 on that last fastball. That ball wasn't that far off the plate.
No.
Pujols knew it was ball 4. Bases loaded again.
I don't know. That was a little better than the other one.
Encarnacion now to try to bust the game open if it's not already. St. Louis by 4. Nobody throwing for the Nats. And as expected, Jason Isringhausen has sat down in the St. Louis bullpen. Bob Carpenter, Tom Paciorek here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. You got to get yourself out of this, Tom. You know, tonight may be too late, down by 4. But this is going to be a very difficult road trip to begin with, and you got to play better than the Nats have played tonight.
No doubt about it. You're going against two of the best teams in the National League. You got the Mets after this, but of course, you know, the old adage, you got to play them one at a time and one inning at a time. And it just seems like you get off to such a bad start every night. It's really difficult to overcome that.
Encarnacion for 4 tonight. His batting average on its way down to 200. This one out toward right center. It's going to fall in.
Force play.
Out and home. That's a force play that does not require a tag. And a great throw by Guillen.
And that is horrible base running right there. He's tagging up on that play. You can't. There's no way you're going to score. You got to play that halfway. Oh, that's terrible. You know, you take away a hit and an RBI from your teammate right here. And good presence of mind right there by Guillen.
A 9-2 force play. And not an easy play for Brian Schneider either.
Well, you know, and the thing about it is the head first slide by Rodriguez is ridiculous. He tags the plate about the height of his shoulder. Watch where he tags the plate. He's going by the plate instead of a feet first slide, which would have probably gotten them in there. Boy, that's awful.
Rodriguez has done a lot of times when you see the foot first slide, the runner's shoe will push the catcher's shoe right off of the front of home plate.
Right.
With the hand, there's no way.
So that is 9-2 if you're scoring at home.
Your typical fielder's choice.
Unbelievable.
The Nats have another pitcher on the way, and it's still a 6-2 game. Joey Eisen into the game now to take on Jim Edmonds with the bases still loaded after a bizarre, crazy, unusual, rare 9-2 fielder's choice. Joey trying to get that ERA down. He's been able to do that his last couple of times out.
Yeah, he dug himself a deep hole. Look at those 10 walks in 8 innings. But he's been a lot more aggressive. Got 11 strikeouts in those 8 innings.
Jim Edmonds 1 for 4. A 3-run homer in the first after an unforced error by Ryan Zimmerman at third. That's a breaking ball. Now let's watch. Well, the runner just doesn't know what he's doing.
No, you got to play that halfway. There's no way you can tag up if that ball is caught. And you deserve to be out on a play like that.
You know, he beat the ball. That was obvious. But did his hand ever get on home plate?
I don't know. Apparently not.
And the head first slide, your hand cannot move the catcher's shoe. His shoe can break your hand. Edmonds out to center. St. Louis will strand 3. They score 6 runs tonight through 8, and they've left 11 runners. We're going to the 9th. Guillen to lead off for the Nats. They're down 6-2. Top of the 9th inning on a 70-degree Thursday evening in St. Louis, Missouri. The Cardinals lead 6-2. Aaron Miles will stay in after pinch hitting and getting a sac fly. He'll play second base in place of Hector Luna. And 28-year-old Josh Hancock who's had some big league time with the Red Sox, the Phillies, and the Reds, will take over. Cardinals signed him as a minor league free agent to complete their bullpen back in February.
Tell you, the Cardinals have been getting some good pitching all season long. We mentioned earlier they're second just to the New York Mets in ERA in the National League. And a lot has to be said about their defense, too.
Guillen shows bunt. Yeah, the Mets at 3.25, St. Louis 3.37. And Guillen fouls one quickly. 0-2. Cardinals are trying to increase their record to 15-7. They would be a half game back of Houston. And the Nats are about to lose their 5th in a row. The Nationals, if they lose tonight, will have won 1 out of 8 games against the National League Central. Guillen handcuffed. What a pick by Eckstein. What a throw by Eckstein.
Jeez.
Jose Guillen's hit 2 of the hardest balls of his life tonight, and he's 0 for 4.
Yeah. You know what he just did? And I think that is something. He just clapped in as he's coming across the infield. This is a rocket. How do you do this? And then you make a perfect throw, and as Jose is coming across the infield, he just gave him a little clap. I mean, what more can you do?
Ryan Church, the batter, 1 for 3 with a double.
Jeez, I think Jose Guillen has swung the bat great tonight. He's 0 for 4.
That ball he hit that Taguchi caught back in the 7th, and now this one just rockets. 2 outs. And the final hope is Ryan Zimmerman. For 2 with a walk. Josh Hancock coming in with a major league record of 6-3 in 32 games, 12 starts. Will he be the next reclamation project of Dave Duncan?
Probably.
Whose ultimate might have been Dave Stewart. Zimmerman hits this ball well out to center, and the game is over. Cardinals beat the Nationals 6-2. Out hitting Washington 8-6. Not a good start to the road trip or this weekend series. We're back with more from Busch Stadium in a moment. The Gateway Arch, beautiful night in St. Louis, and another good-looking night for the home team. The Cardinals go to 15-7 on the year, and the Nats are the other way, 7-15, losing for the 5th time in a row now. And just under a week ago, things were looking so good. The rain out on Saturday, the Braves win Sunday, the sweep by Cincinnati, and now this. And Tom, in terms of how you fundamentally play the game, the Nats really have nowhere to go but up from this point forward.
Yeah, this might have been the worst game of the year when you think about it. You know, you're looking at the scoreboard now and you see the one error, Bob, and that really doesn't tell the story of the game. There was a lot of misplayed balls, some base running mistakes, a lot of miscues that led to that 6-2 defeat. You know, and the Cardinals didn't set the world on fire tonight either. They left 11 men on base and gave the Nationals a chance to come back with the 2 runs in the 7th inning, but we just wouldn't take it after that, and Nats just couldn't take it. So it was a very poorly played ball game from a Washington standpoint. Unfortunately, a long litany of things that went wrong in this game tonight.
It got started back in the first inning after the Zimmerman error. A high heater, and O'Connor gave up a 3-run shot to Jim Edmonds.
Yeah, they were all unearned runs. Jim Edmonds got his classic high fastball that he loves, and he clobbered it.
Yeah, he's a high ball, left-handed hitter, very unusual, and he can get hot and carry a ball club. Now, let's look at what the rest of the evening was like, and it was a very difficult evening for the Nats. Starting with the low throw, and this, of course, is before the Edmonds homer. Zimmerman just sidearms it over there. And then Brian Schneider on the ball, booted by Luna. He's back looking. Instead of watching his third base coach, Zimmerman would drop a ball that should have been caught by the dugout. And Ryan Church with a weird play. He had it, then he bobbled it, then the ball hit the wall. Probably should have been an error, and they gave the batter a double. So a very unusual night for the Nats. And the birds on the bat prevail here like they usually do. They are 10-3 in their new ballpark.
Yeah, they're playing very well in the ballpark, been very successful, even though I'm sure they're not real proud of the way they performed, although I was impressed with Sidney Ponson. I'll tell you, for about 6 innings, he had a good sinker working, good curve and slider combination.
Bye, Tom.
See you, Bob.
Come back and help me out tomorrow, would you?
I'll be here.
Cards win at 6-2. Final words from St. 6-game road trip getting underway with 4 in St. Louis, 2 to follow in New York. And the Nats had some hopes that they could get away from home and maybe relax and play a good game tonight. It would not happen, although Mike O'Connor looked pretty sharp in his major league debut. For Tom Paciorek, I'm Bob Carpenter. The final score, Cardinals 6, Nationals 5. Join us, Nationals 2, pardon me. Join us tomorrow night at 8. Game 2 on DCA and Messon. This has been a presentation of the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network.